Good morning. Welcome to Conversations in the Corner with Latish Corner. I have a special guest here with me today. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
My name is Gideon Tebong. I'm from Cameroon and I'm 49 years old.
Okay, perfect. Do you have any children?
Yes, I do. I do have three a son, 23, a daughter, 19, and another daughter, 11 years.
How long have you been in Houston?
I've been in Houston for 9 years now. Yeah, 9 years.
And where did you live before that?
I lived in DC, but I didn't like the cold, the winter, and then I moved here. It's been okay. It's more it's similar to where I come from in terms of there's no snow, so it's more like a tropical climate. It's humid and stuff like that, so we like it.
How long have you been in the United States?
I will say 10 years.
Oh, 10 years.
Yeah.
So you were just in D.C.
Yeah.
for 1 year.
Yeah, like for 1 year, but I lived in Brazil before that.
Okay.
I was in Brazil for 4 years.
Mm.
Yeah, before I moved here.
Okay. What would you say some of the differences between Brazil and Houston are?
Well, the difference in terms of culture, it's different. Brazilians are more social people. They are more of community people. They want to know what's happening to the next person. But here it's so different. We're all different. Nobody cares what's happening to the next person. Though we socialize, but it's so different as compared to Brazil.
Oh, perfect. All right. So, what are some of the things that you like to do here in Houston?
Well, Houston is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And each part of Houston has something different, right? The food, the culture, it's so different. It all depends on what you feel like doing. I like visiting. My job takes me to a lot of places, and you wouldn't believe. I've been to like all the countries around here. So,
So, what is your job?
well, I'm a general contractor,
Mm-hmm.
and I also have a contract with Samsung and LG, and we do repairs with them, and also do windows and doors installation. So it's a lot going on.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot going on. Are you a very political person?
Before, yes, but now politics is so different. It's so different. When I moved here, politics was like people communicating to like differences and talk about it. Now it's so different. It's so polarized. And as an immigrant, I just stay away from all what's going on now. It's so difficult, and I try to talk less and less about politics.
How do you feel about, do you feel like there's a difference between the Africans that were born here and the Africans that are born in Africa?
Yes. It all depends, right? There's a lot that you want to dissect and try to match it with people that. When you come from Africa, it's so different. The way we grow up is so different, right? Here, it's so different. It's more like kids have this right, and they have this right, and they have this right. And back home, it's what your parents tell you to do, or that's what you're gonna do. There's no way going around that, right? Here, your kid talks back to you, or tell you what they want, and it all depends on. And the kids Africans that are born here, if their parents still have like the real African culture, to try to make sure that respect stays. But time goes on, it goes away, and kids tend to be more like they adopt the system here, which is you can look at it from a two-way perspective. It's good, and it's also not too good as an African, where we think respect is the fundamentals for a kid's well-being, education, and everything. To us, it's we try to always make sure we teach that to our kids. Respect, respect, respect.
What do Africans call, because I don't really love the word African Americans, right? So what do Africans call African Americans? Like, do you guys call us black people?
Well, I've seen, I call them, there's a lot going on in that spectrum where you have to see what part of town you are in, right? If, I don't care, I call them like, we're all black people, but some Africans in some community they'll call them akatas, and but it all depends. Yeah, so there's a lot going on in that field.
Akatas.
Yes, like it's a derogative word, and word that they use a lot, but it's I don't to me I don't use those words because it's like the N word.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's to us because it implies that lazy people or something of that sort.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but I don't. To me, as an individual, in my community, we don't hear that a lot.
Is that the perception that we give off? Is that we're lazy Americans?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that it all depends on where you come from and where you live at, right? Mm-hmm. In some areas, like you go to some areas, some part of town, where you have the black community, you mostly see people using those words in those areas because you have those areas where people live a certain way. I don't think it's they live in a way. When we move from Africa, right, we have that idea in our brains that America is so good, right? We watch a lot of movies. When you're growing up, you watch movies in Hollywood and all that, and that stays in your mind. When you move in here, you still think that you will see people at that level, and then reality hits in. You see people that are far worse than where you come from back home, and then you begin to like, what's going on?
I'm glad you said that because our movies gives us the opposite. They tell us that Africa is so poor, right?
Yeah.
But then, for a little bit, I was watching Netflix. I went down a little rabbit hole, and it was a lot of African movies, right?
Yeah.
Everybody had mansions. Everybody had foreign cars.
Okay.
So that's very much different than when I was a little girl and I'm seeing these commercials at midnight saying, feed the Africans for $1. Send $1 in a day to feed the Africans. That's a big difference.
When you watch CNN and you watch NBC and Fox and all that, I believe that they portray the part of Africa that is so bad or so in need of foreign aid.
Help, yes.
Yeah. It's true that we also have that. It's not fair-fetched, but it's been Africa has been developing, and the reality is, a lot of countries like Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Senegal, and other countries are like beginning to go into like you have a lot of middle-class people that are able to afford those things. But if you're gonna watch news and all that, they'll show just the war, the famine. It's back a couple of years back. It was like AIDS was like the topic, right? Everybody in Africa was like. I remember 20 years ago, it was like everybody in Africa had AIDS or something. Yeah.
And that wasn't the case.
No, it wasn't the case. It's true that AIDS was rampant, but it was like everywhere else.
Right.
Yeah. But when you want to sell, you want money, you want to sell stuff. You're going to paint an image of a people, right? That these people need this, and so people can contribute to that cause.
So, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah. But if you go to Africa, we have places that are like New York or downtown Houston and all that, but you won't see that in the news, right? They will show you just like kids dying of famine,
right?
Or people not educated. But if you look at the level of Africans that are here, a third of them have at least a degree in something. Yeah, because we think growing up, your parents' school is not negotiable.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta do it. If you want to do something else, but you gotta get this first, and then you're gonna do something else. Then that's how we all grow up.
Do you think somebody like me, like my background business?
Yeah.
Do you think I could move to Africa and be successful?
Of course, Africa has one of the fastest growing economies in every field you want to put it in. and the return on investment is higher than in America. So it all depends what you do. If you do your research, you do your investment, you do your management, you can the returns in any part of Africa will be better than here.
Do you think they would buy from me?
Of course. Africa at this moment is one of the countries that import almost everything. China, everybody in Africa almost imports from China. So if you have a business that sells, that produces, that sells services, and you do it well, you make your money. And I don't care which part of Africa you're going to, Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, Egypt, South Africa, whatever part, if you do it well, you'll be successful.
What do you think? Is there a big difference between Cameroon and Congo and Nigeria?
In terms of what?
Just the culture or the way they look.
The looks we all look we all look the same, but in terms of culture, language, we may have some differences. Because in Cameroon, the first thing in Africa is that Africa was colonized, right, by France, Portugal, the English, the Belgium. So we have different languages and we have different cultures because of all this colonization that came in Africa. And Cameroon, we speak two official languages, French and English, and then we have like 1,000 local languages. You go to Nigeria, it will be the same. Nigeria was colonized by Britain, so they speak English in Nigeria, and then you have the Yorubas, you have the Igbos, and all that. And if you go to Gabon, they'll speak French, and then they'll speak different languages, like they have the Fang and different languages. You go to Chad, you'll see that, and if you go to like South Africa, you will see them speaking English, and they'll speak Zulu, and they'll speak different languages. Same as in Senegal. So you have that diverse culture that is so embedded in Africa that it's a gold mine,
right,
that is just sitting there to be exploited. But I think with time we will know the value of what we have.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is, and so it all depends what part of Africa you're looking at. Yeah. Are you looking for the if you look at Nigeria has, after Hollywood, Bollywood, you have Nollywood in Nigeria. It's one of the biggest film industry in the world.
Right.
Yeah. They have tons of movies.
Yeah, yeah.
In every field you want, they have.
So my question is, let's just say Cameroon, right? Do they have a president?
Yes, we have a president that's been in power for 43 years.
43 years, right?
Yeah.
So why don't they ever reach out to Americans to try to get us to visit them more? Because I've never heard that. I know
some countries do. Cameroon does not. If you Ghana, a lot of people from here go to Ghana. I know guys that own homes in Ghana. Senegal, Gabon, Nigeria. Those countries give dual nationalities to citizens.
Oh.
Yeah, If some you can do it through investment. Some you could apply, and they look at your, and some countries don't. Like Cameroon don't. I can't have a dual nationality. I'm going to lose one. So those countries, it's difficult for them to be open for that purpose, because you don't want to lose your citizenship, right? So it's difficult to go to those countries and be like, I want to invest here and I want to get a second citizenship. It's not going to happen because you're going to lose one. But Nigeria and Senegal and I believe Gabon and Ghana, you can get those dual nationalities. Yeah, so you can keep your citizenship and still have a passport from those countries. So that gives you flexibility. When you're there, you're a citizen of that country. You can invest as a regular citizen. While in Cameroon, it's so different because it comes with politics. the government is like in my country, we have a president that has been in power for 43 years. You can imagine? That dude is 92 years. And he still want to run another term for 7 years. So he'll be like 99 by the time he's done with his new term. And they don't want competition. They know we are out there. We see what happens. We know what democracy is. We know what changes. So those people don't want change, right? They want to keep the status quo. So they'll do whatever it takes to maintain what's happening.
Can y'all vote him out?
Well, they got. You see here, you see the way it works here. Each state controls its election, and then send in the result. In Cameroon, it's a central system. The government controls everything. So they say they have an independent electoral body, but they don't proclaim the results. So so by the time people vote, it's cooked. By the time it gets out, he wins. And they've done that for so long that people are disappointed. Nobody is interested in politics because we know the outcome, right? So that's what's going on. It's discouraging. If you call somebody, be like, "Hey, are you going to vote?" It's like, "We know who's going to win. Why would I go?"
Especially 40 years.
He's been 42 years. You can imagine. I'm 49, 48. So which means he's been there. I was 4 years or whatever. He was already president. And soon I'll be 50, he's still president. And that plays if you see countries that have democracy back in Africa, they have a lot of development. People are coming to invest, and it's giving them, they grow. People, you look at Nigeria, you see all those homes that you see in Nigeria, it's real. They have all those cars that you see in the Bentleys and all that. You go to Nigeria, you see those cars on the streets. Like, people have them. Because the system, they have a democracy, business thrives, and everybody has the possibility of reinvesting. They have dual citizenship, and you can come back and go and reinvest, and people want to do business.
Do you think it's a lot of fraud?
A lot of what?
Fraud.
Yeah. Fraud it's a measure. Even here they have it, but at a certain level. But in Africa, it's in the upper. And corruption from private citizens to government entities. If you want something done, you're gonna give something. To get something in return. Because if you want something done let's say something has to be done in a week's time, right? And they will take like 6 months because they're expecting something in return in order for them to do what they were supposed to do. Yeah.
So if I wanted to get a business started and I'm trying to get a business built to get the permits, I'm gonna have to do some bribing.
Hell depends what business you're doing. If you're gonna do like a regular business. No, Nigeria, what I'm saying is depending what country you are in. Nigeria, Gabon, Ghana, Senegal, all those countries, it's quick. But those countries that like you have presidents that are there like for 40 plus years, it's because they've made that system so opaque that it's so difficult to track in those areas. Yeah, but countries, if you go to certain countries, you could start a business in 2-3 days.
And you can study there?
Yes.
And get a degree there or a certificate?
Yes. We got universities, we go to school and we have all those, and when we come here, those degrees are valid. They may ask us to take some certifications in order to match up certain levels, but yeah, they work.
So are you a big fan of the beaches there?
Yes. We have, in Cameroon, we have 2 major beaches, one in Limbe and one in Kribi. They are beautiful. In Nigeria, in Lagos, you got one. I think so South Africa. But to me, I've been to South Africa. They got the best ones.
South Africa got the best ones.
Yes. In terms of the way, in Kenya too, the way they've done the investment in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of tourism, they put a lot of money where, you'll be happy to be in those places.
Where would I want to move and retire? Like something slow, but still rich.
Okay. Uh, in terms, because one of the things, if you're moving to Africa, you have to look at security. Very important. You don't want to be kidnapped. You don't want to go in an area where you'll be kidnapped and they start asking for a ransom. Like, we need this to let this person go, right?
Are they gonna do they do background checks to see if the people's family even has money?
Well, they'll do that later on.
After they keep, what if they don't have any money?
Well, we'll figure that after.
That's crazy.
Right now, right now in Cameroon, there was a kidnapping that happened on the north part, because the north part is going towards Chad, Nigeria, and it's going towards the desert, Sahara Desert. So right there, there's a kidnapping that happened. I think the kids have been released, but one was killed. This lady, her 5 kids were kidnapped, and they were asking for a ransom of was it $20,000? And so this influencer, right, guy came up online and asked people to contribute in order to raise that money, and people were contributing towards that. But the kids have been released. I think they were kidnapped into Nigeria, as per what the government of Cameroon is saying. So they freed them in Nigeria. So, but one of the kids, I think the son, the eldest, was killed in that process.
That is crazy. Do you know how old he was?
Look at the photo. I think he was like 15, 16, 17.
He might have been trying to fight back.
Yeah, he's trying to. He was the eldest, so he's trying probably to protect the siblings, and so.
That is so sad.
Yeah. So those things happen, and so you have to look at that. So if you want to go to Africa, you look at Senegal, but there's a problem of language. They speak French, then they speak other like local stuff. If you don't want to have issues with language barrier, you go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria, and then maybe South Africa or Botswana. All those areas, you'll be fine, because it's more of English-speaking countries. So, because English language should be a barrier, especially if you're going to invest or retire. You should be able to communicate with people. Yeah. So, but I've seen people live from here and go live in Mexico. But Mexico is like most people speak English in Mexico a lot. So.
Yeah, but I kind of want to. I've been to Mexico. I'm sure I've not been to like the most beautiful parts of Mexico, but I've been to some parts of Mexico, and I've never been to Africa. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I've even had the urge to go to Africa because it's so far away. What is it? 22 hours? 24 hours?
Yeah, if you're gonna go through Europe, because most of the flights go through Europe. If you're gonna take Brussels or Air France or call it whatever, I'm not here to advertise those companies. You will take 13 or 14 hours.
14?
From here to Europe first.
Oh. Yeah, I almost got it. Somebody.
And then you have a layover. It depends on the way you book your flight. Maybe a 2 hours, maybe 3 hours layover. And then it depends what part of Africa you're going. You're looking at another 6 hours, 7 hours. So it all depends what part of Africa you're going to. So you're looking at almost 20 something hours.
That's a lot.
Well, I do it all the time, so maybe I'm used to it.
You used to it. I almost have panic attacks on like the 4-hour flights. I'd be like, I gotta get off this thing.
Yeah, no. Some people have anxiety. Some people don't want to sit in that thing for so long. And then with all the turbulences and everything, they feel like I need to get out of this thing.
It's too tight. Like imagine us sitting like this for 14 hours, and it's not even this much room.
Those flights going to Europe are bigger.
They're bigger?
Yeah, they're like those huge ones.
Are there any boats to go?
Boats? Yeah, but you're gonna be on the sea forever, right? Like, if you have to take like I hear there's some boats that do. But I've never tried. I don't want to spend my time in the water. I just want to go one day Good.
I like, you know what, I'm gonna look into that. I would love to do a cruise where you said it would stop. Maybe if we have to go through Europe.
I don't think there's a cruise going to Africa countries, but those cruises go to like Europe or Asia or something. But you can look into it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's one going.
I wouldn't mind doing like a nice, comfortable, even a two, because I was gonna do a 15-day cruise. So
Okay.
I wouldn't mind doing that, something like that.
But you know, I think if you want to go to Africa, do your research. Look at the things you like. You intend to look at. What, because if you go north, you're gonna be in the desert. Like if you go to Morocco, and Egypt, and Tunisia, all those northern parts, you'll be like mostly in the desert and in the city of the, you know. But if you come south, you can go tourism. You can go to Kenya or Uganda or whatever country you want to go to, or Ethiopia, or you know, you can go like, okay, I like this part of Africa. This, you know, the culture. I like the culture. I like the landscape. I like the people. I like the way they interact. It's a place I can live in. You know, just sit around and watch. If you think it's something you can live there, and you know, start your own business and see how it goes.
Is there a lot of Africans in Egypt?
Egypt is Africa.
I know, but like, so I met an Egyptian,
Yeah.
and he didn't look African.
He looks what?
He looks like
Middle East.
like if me and a Middle Eastern had a baby.
Yeah, Egyptians are more of they are more of people from the Middle East. You know.
Cause he had our hair texture, but a light skin
Yeah,
color, but
yeah.
not even like a light black man skin color. It was more pale.
That's how all those Maghreb countries. That's some of them don't think they're Africans. They think they are from the Middle East, and because of Mother Nature that cut them into Africa. So some of them,
I know that's right. I love that you said that.
I've seen some of them say, "No, we are from the Middle East." I'm like, "No,
That's
you're
still Africa.
You're African, man. Come on."
Yeah,
And
I was excited when I met him.
so there's always that disparity of them thinking they're from another continent and all that, but it's still Africa. And Egypt, it's you know, it's like 90% Muslims, and they have a little community of Christians. So, do you want to deal with that culture? You can eat this, you can do this in public, you can dress like this, and you can do this. So, it all depends on how you feel comfortable.
I was raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm really sad
Why?
at the education. I'm not gonna cry. At the education that I received, because based off that education, it would have made me believe that either I was a slave or I was a poor African child with no money. Nothing in between.
Okay.
When that's completely the opposite.
Okay.
And even when they talk about Egyptians, they just painted them as mummies.
History has distorted a lot of things, and civilization, a lot of things happen from Egypt. You know, mathematics, writing, you know, whatever you name it. You know, if you look at the pyramids, they're in Egypt, right?
Right.
So that tells you the level of civilization that was in Africa. While in Europe, people were still hunting deer.
Yeah.
And in America, people were still running naked.
Right.
But in Africa, we were building the pyramids and doing mathematics and doing all those things.
Right.
Yeah. So the reality is, every civilization or every culture will try to paint themselves as to be the best part of humanity.
Right. What's the period?
And you have to look at beyond that and look at your own side of life and go do research, talk to people, and then you start seeing the reality of what's really there.
What it really is.
Yeah. Because in the 80s, if I was in Africa, right, and we watched CNN, and it's war, it's famine in Africa, right? It's just the just those parts going on, and oh, they are like we're living on trees, oh, we're not cultivated, oh, we have Ebola, oh, we are not up to a certain level of humanity, like we are happy, we're not up, and and you have to look beyond those things to see reality. Be like, oh, I'm African. I have a culture. I have, we 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 are people of, because the kingdom we in Africa we used to have kingdom, even up to today, right? So, and when you go do research, you see Mansa Musa was even up to date. Is one of his wealth is still.
Say his name again for me.
Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa. I always say his name, Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
That's really the only. Now, where was his? Because I know he was the richest, still is the richest black person in the world, right?
Yeah.
So where was he from?
It was from Timbuktu. And Timbuktu is somewhere in Mali, I believe.
Mali.
Yeah.
Say it
From
again. Mali.
Yeah.
I always get it confused. And I was gonna go there. The only issue is it's far from a beach.
Yeah.
It's like in the middle.
Yes.
And I didn't love that. I didn't love that idea at all. But yeah, I want to go to Mansa Musa. I almost hate that I'm done having children, because if I was having another son, I would name him Mansa Musa.
Okay.
Mansa Musa. I love that name.
So civilization has taught us that you gotta fight for yours.
Yeah.
And these people are not gonna put your culture out there. They're gonna put theirs, right? In order for you not to exist. So you have to fight to make sure yours is out there and people know about it and your kids know about it and they'll learn it and they keep it. And here it's so limited in terms of we have all these technologies, we have this, we have that, but the culture it's so limited to what people know here. And people speak just English and they want to equate your education to, if somebody looks at me and be like, oh, they are educated and we are not, I'd be like, we come from first an area where we need to speak French, we need to speak English, we need to speak I speak like 10 or 12 different languages. And then I still need to prove myself that I'm able to do something. So those are the differences we have as a black person. Then as an African coming here, there's a problem between us coming from Africa and the black people that are here. Even between us, we look the same, but we still have issues. Because those here think we're coming to take their jobs.
Oh, is that what you think?
I don't think, but I've been into conversation where the black brothers and sisters here the thing where we have more advantages, more privilege than that is their country. We have favorite terms of loans, we have favorite terms, we could buy a house, we could do this, but they can't do all those things because it's so difficult for them. So and then another one, they were like, oh, we come in and we take all your women and all that, and so even between us, I've watched videos or watched people say, oh, I don't like that African, and then I think all the Africans like me say I did not come here on a boat.
I know that. Now that is, I'm glad you touched on that. So what does that mean?
Well, if somebody says that they did not come here on a boat, it means they were not slaves. They are not descendants of slaves.
Okay.
Which means he came here on he has no lineage of slavery in him.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it means. And so even between us, it's so difficult because we are competing against each other. It's supposed to be the opposite.
Right.
But it's not. And because they say, no, we're coming, within a few years we're able to do this, but they've been here all their lives the government doesn't give them those advantages that they give us. So
What advantages does the government give you?
nothing.
Okay.
We nothing. It's just that we come from, you know, the truth is, even back home, people take what they own for granted. Here is the same thing here.
Right.
So we come from areas where it's difficult to survive. Like we don't have work. Like you can go to the best colleges, but you don't have work to after that to go to yeah. So I have friends that are my age, never work their life. Not because they can, but they don't have it. No opportunity for them to work and provide for their families. It's so difficult that if they post a job, like let's say whatever, you have 10,000 people, 20,000 people applying for that position. That to tell you the level of where we go to. That people are all willing to work, but the jobs are not there. And back home, the government is the biggest employer, so everybody wants to be a civil servant, right? But the government can't just employ everybody. So the private sector cannot absorb everybody because the jobs are simply not there. So once we move here and we see that we have that different options, like, hey, if you work hard, you make more money. If you put more hours, you make money. And people that are born here, they take that for granted. It's their system. It's so they have it. So why will I bother when I have it? You know, I can go do it when I want. I cannot do it, and so that's the difference. We look at that opportunity that we don't have back home to get job, and we see that here. When I moved here, my first job was $7 an hour. I was working in a restaurant. I was doing. I went in from 6 p.m. till 2 in the morning. I would, serve people. Then after I would clean all the dishes and send out the trash. And then I would walk home at 2 a.m. in the morning because I had no car. But most people here wouldn't do it because they're like, why would I work for $7 and work 12 and then walk home 2-3 miles a night for? Why would I be doing that? Use certain words. So they wouldn't do it. But I did that, and then I did other stuff like work for for $10, $12, $13, $14. And when I was working for $10, I thought I had made it. And then I was working like 10, 20 hours overtime. But I was working with other people that were like Black Americans that be like, I'm not working no overtime. I'm working 40 hours, I'm going home. I want to blame him. They don't,
I want to blame him.
We come from areas where we don't even have the jobs.
Yeah.
So we want to we want to meet up. We want to do this. We have projects. I want to build a house back home.
Right.
Because I'm going to retire and go back home. I have kids and then to send them to college. Then your family back home is expecting you to help out in situations like, oh, we don't have money this week for this. You're going to send $20, $50, $100. Oh, your auntie's gonna call you, hey, your cousin can't go to school because I don't have this. You're gonna send like money for support. So we have that pressure, right? Here people don't have pressure because your cousin is none of your business.
Some of them don't have pressure. Then you have people like me who do have pressure. I might not have cousins, but what I feel like America, and I do have cousins actually, I think America has produced a lot more single mothers. So it's just one of me, right? But now it's times 3 because I have 3 children and no father, no child support, right? So yeah, it's a lot of Black women that don't say no to overtime versus who were you talking about?
I was talking about some fellas I was working with, they're boys, like men back then. They were like men that I was working with, right? That I used to work for a company, USIC something back then, and they used to pay us $14 an hour, but we could get overtime. During overtime, you could go from, because it's normally 8 hours shift, but you could go to 10, and at the end of the week you have like two hours. That's 10 hours of a time. And then if you want to work, if there's an opening for Saturday, you can have another 8 hours. But a lot of Americans that we're working with that are black guys, no,
they're gonna go out.
40 hours they're done,
Right.
and they're not gonna work Saturday, and they're gonna come back on Monday, and they'll call up, hey, I can't, I understand people can call up, but people they call up a lot, and they do not show up for work.
I think that goes back to how you were raised, because my grandpa and grandmother really raised me, and it actually makes me happy to go to work. I like going to work. I like being productive and busy and making money. I'm depressed when it's the other way.
People want to work, but I've seen situations where people are on welfare and they're working a certain limit of a certain portion of hours in order not to meet a certain standard in order to get off welfare.
Right.
And they don't do that.
Right.
And I have a friend that was he was working in a department that was HR or whatever. So they gave a lady a raise. She refused that raise because it's going to keep her off welfare. So like, I didn't ask for a raise. I want to keep today's because I want to keep my day. I'm like, the raise means they encourage you to work. You're doing great. They want to pay you more.
Yes, I understand what she's scared of. So understand her thinking, and I agree with you 100%. Before I tell you her thinking, let's say she's getting $500 a month in food stamps, right?
Yeah.
But now I just get a $2 raise. Yeah. Well, now that takes away my $500 a month in food stamps.
Yeah.
Now I'm with you. I'd rather make more money and y'all keep y'all food stamps and stay out of my business. But some people don't think like that.
Yeah. Some I've seen people be like, no, I don't want that. I want to stay on the food stamp. I want to stay in this section 18 or section 8 warehousing. And that has made a lot of people with potential just
lazy. But it's guaranteed. Like I was watching something. I watch a lot of YouTube. Yeah. So a woman was married. And she was married to one of the richest men on Titanic. Well, he died. But in order for her to keep her allowance every month, she couldn't get married again, right? But she had enough money that would, protect her So eventually, she got married again, but she lost that money, right? But then she got divorced after 30 years. So now she doesn't have a guaranteed income coming in. That's the way people look at that. Because you can lose your job, right? But you'll always have your food stamps in your Section 8. Well, you used to always have that.
Yes, you could. To me, I believe that Section 8 or food stamp should be a backing if things don't work for you on this side, right?
Right.
Which means you're gonna work hard and make sure you don't go to those Section 8 and food stamps. You're gonna work every day, especially if you're healthy. If you're sick, that's a different situation. I understand that if health is a problem, then I get it. But if you're healthy and you don't have any issues with your health, you can work, go work, and get better at what you're doing, improve yourself. If you're doing a business or you're working for somebody, get some certifications and get better at what you're doing, and just keep grinding, right? And get better, and you will see that whatever you're taking in food stamp doesn't mean anything the moment you work so hard that you can meet up on that. But if you're in difficulties and you lose your job, I get it.
Right.
But don't just depend on. I've seen people depend on that. I've been here for like 10 years, and I know people here in Houston that for the past 8 years have been on that, and they are as healthy. They are more healthy than me. And they live in those Section 8 buildings, and they've been there all their life, and they don't want to go anywhere.
Because it's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed monthly income. I seen a woman online. She was arguing with her 16-year-old son, or maybe he was 17, because he wanted to get a job. She didn't want him to get a job because it goes against her Section 8 income. And you could hear the hurt in his voice. She's like, you can't get a job. And he's like, I can't get a job because of this. Like he wants to be better. He wants, and she was adamant, no, you can't get a job. But you have to understand. So these are some people's culture. Their grandma was on Section 8. Their mother was on Section 8. Now they're on Section 8. And then that's just everything they know.
Absolutely. but you
You got on the book.
you gotta break that, right? You gotta learn to be better. You gotta learn to work in order to develop, to have money, and in order to generational wealth. You gotta work with it. You cannot be in Section 8 and ever have that.
Right.
They're gonna keep you. They can keep you there for
Right.
for 5, 6, 7 generations.
Right.
That's 7 generations that have lost with nothing to write home about.
And they're scared. A lot of people are scared, though. They're scared that they won't be able to make it. They're scared of, I'm scared of the other way. I'm scared of being a slavery to them. I'm scared. I don't want anybody to say, okay, you cannot make this amount. You can't make more than this.
Exactly.
Because I want to go to Puerto Rico. So I don't want anybody to put a stop on my income. That was for me. But everybody doesn't think like that.
No, people don't think like that. One of the things that I see, maybe I'm in the wrong. People want to always blame other people for their failures, or for their state of mind, or for the situation they're in. Once you're an adult, you gotta pick up yourself and move. Which means if your parents were in Section 8 all their life and you think you want to move out of that and get better, it's time, because you don't want to have your kids too, and they come live in that same situation. You want to be able to make sure, not the best, but give them the minimum.
Right.
Get a place for them to stay, give them their education. They need to see you go to work. That's how kids learn to do stuff. They need to see you coming, tired. They want to see you get up in the morning and get in the car or get on the bus. And those kids know that's how life is. But if in the morning they see you sleeping, they come back from school, they see you in the backyard, you're smoking and you're drinking. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that once in a while, but if you do that from Monday to Friday, kids copy those things, and those are the best things kids want to copy.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a problem that I have with us, people that look like me included. We have to move away from that, and if we can do it, but we should make it easy for our kids to be able to create wealth for themselves and their kids, which means we got to give them the education they need. We're going to give them the facility in terms of a lifestyle, the way we move, the way we get up in the morning to go do stuff. Our kids should copy that. They should this is how it should be.
Are you making me feel good as a mother? Because my son told me that's why he works so hard, because I work so hard.
Exactly.
So I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. My daughter, she now works. She's 18. I'm like, you're not gonna sit home.
Right. Oh, I was like that with my 16-year-old. He was so funny. That's why I was saying, I didn't give my kids a choice. My favorite thing is to say is no work, no eat.
Yeah.
If you don't work, you don't eat. Period.
So that's how. Because I told her, I gave her 2 options. You go work, or I give you a one-way ticket.
Right. You gonna send it back to Africa?
No, I wasn't gonna send her, but I was like,
You just threatened.
Yeah,
Who was she? Let me ask you this, because a threat like that, you can't threaten people like that if you don't even have a backup plan. Like, do you have somebody that she can stay with?
Yeah, I got family back home. I got a lot of people back home, but I don't think it's an option she would take. But
Right.
So she'll go work.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you threaten something like that, you gotta have something behind it. So just in case she pulls your plug.
No, the reality is, back home is difficult. It's worse in terms of you won't have the advantages you have here, like to go to school and get the level of education you have here, and be guaranteed that you can get a job, because she has a lot of friends back home that are in college that are not guaranteed to get a job. She's in nursing school. That automatically gives her a guarantee that she'll at least get work when she graduates. Back home, I know tons of friends that have daughters that are nurses that have no work.
Right.
You want to go be in that state where you have...
We got plenty of work here.
Yeah, here as a nurse, you get something. That's for sure.
Traveling nurse.
Yeah. So I'm like, so I gave her 2 options. One-way ticket, or you go to work. She said, I'm going to work, but you better go to work.
Yeah.
So she is. So when you get to that age where they can do something, let them do something.
Right.
No matter how little it is,
right.
Let them do it. Even if it's Walmart, even if it's at the Burger King, let them start learning how to burn their fingers young and get those dollars rolling in, because the moment they start seeing that money coming in,
Oh yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, that's okay.
He's changing.
Yeah.
His attitude is much better. I love that for me. I love that for me.
Yeah. He now like, instead of waiting for my mom, I can go there, go put those hours and get my money.
Yeah.
And go, if I need it, at that age, they don't think like me and you.
Yeah.
They want to get a pair of Jordans, they want to get a t-shirt, they want to go eat something that they prefer.
Yeah.
They're not waiting on you, right?
Right.
Because you push them to be able to go out and fetch for themselves.
Yes.
That's what we should do with.
And he's doing it. I'm very proud of him. He's taking care of himself. So listen, I hate to have to wrap this up. We have to do this again, seriously, because I want some more education. You've taught me so much today already.
Anytime. Just let me know a couple of days in advance so that I can.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again like real soon.
10 stuff around. And
Yeah, real soon, real soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I think this is the longest conversation I've had in a while. Thank you guys. See you later. Bye.